Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Sportsbook and Casino app. You love to play, you play to win, you bet. Bet Parks, Eliot Shorr-Parks back from Foxborough.
It's a quick little trip up north.
Just a jaunt.
I did the train, which the train is awesome, man.
Yeah, nice and easy, relax.
We talked about this when I was overseas, and we will get to the Eagles, obviously. But like training it overseas, I was like, this is so cool. Like you can get anywhere. And I like the difference here is it's more expensive, but it is so much nicer than flying. Like there's no security. You can just get up. I'm a big proponent of the train now.
Oh, I am too. Yeah, I love it. You all right?
I'm feeling a little sick, but that's okay.
Should we not be in the same room together?
No,
because I'm off this weekend. If I get sick, I will murder you.
Nah,
I'm going to a fish festival. Like I will never forgive you if I get sick. I'm not kidding. I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
I will never forgive you if I get sick.
I think I'm okay. Just feeling a little tired.
All right. Because if I'm sick for the fish festival, I won't be happy.
I feel you.
I'd much rather go into a different room to record if you're not okay. You're
all
right?
I mean, obviously, I feel fine. Yeah, okay. I'm good.
All right. Let's get to it then. We got a lot to get to after the Eagles action up in New England. As again, seemed like a good day for the Birds. I'm just happy not to talk Phillies,
dude. Let me tell you, I feel like I'm at a point with this Eagles team where I almost want someone to pinch me, or because like it just doesn't feel real. Like I'm ready for something bad to happen for this team. Not that I'm wishing that, but like. This camp so far has been so perfect. I'm just ready for something. Like it's almost like I come on this pod every day and I'm like, another great practice. Jalen looked great again. Like they won. And that's exactly what happened. Like they went to New England and they dominated that Patriots team. And it wasn't just me. Like, honestly, one of my biggest takeaways was Patriots writers were standing on the sideline and I heard them in the elevator as well, like in awe of this Eagles team. Like the way they talked about AJ Brown, the way they talked about the defensive line, the way they talked about Jalen. And I understand they have no talent there, so it's probably like eye-opening to see these guys come in and practice. But just overall, like this team looks awesome, and they looked awesome again. And I thought yesterday was a chance for them where maybe you see them against another team, and it's okay. Well, maybe this is an issue, or Jalen did throw an interception, so maybe the defense actually isn't that good. That they like that's not what happened. The defense forced 2 turnovers. Jalen threw 28 passes, and only one I thought was a bad throw. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get into the specifics, but just leaving the day, it's like another awesome practice.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Now, again, the Patriots are going to be one of the worst teams in football, so we don't want to, you can't take too much away from it. I mean, they'll probably be a top 3 worst team, I would think.
Yeah, they're going to be really, really bad.
They're going to be really bad
Brissett
with a new coach, a new quarterback, the whole thing. So, like, you can't – I don't want to take too much away from what they did there, but I'm not – especially with the defensive stuff, like I can't get too excited about what we heard about the defense. The offense thing, great. Like I think they're locked in. Like I feel really good about where the offense is started the season. The Mekhi Becton thing obviously is still a concern. We have to see him in real games against real pass rushers. But like against a Patriots offense that I think is going to be really, really bad, I can't go like I'm happy. Look, they did what they had to do. They should go up there and they should handle that team in joint practice. They should be way better than a team with a brand new coach and a bad roster.
So here will be my like counterpoint to that, because I think you're correct. Like I'm not leaving there going, this defense is going to be unbelievable. Mm-hmm. But I think like in 2022, when the Eagles made the Super Bowl, when we had this debate about the defense, like the defense dominated bad teams and then, weren't great against great quarterbacks. I think what you've said is this defense just needs to get stops, right? This defense needs to get stops when it matters. And I think that at the end of last year, they were a defense that couldn't stop anybody. Like, it didn't matter. Like, Drew Lock had the game-winning touchdown drive against them. The Cardinals moved the ball up and down the field against them. So, we've seen what it looks like when a defense can't handle a bad offense. If this defense this year is just what they were in 2022, like, that's good enough. Obviously, you have to hope they get one more stop against the Chiefs and those type of things. But so while you are right that they dominated a bad offense, they couldn't do that last year towards the end. So it was encouraging to see them be able to do it.
No, it's a good point. I mean, they were such a mess defensively by the end of last season.
Right. They don't look a mess. So I would say the Patriots completed a high percentage of passes. And one thing that I think is true, the Patriots did attack the middle of the field to start practice, which something we saw teams do against Eagles last year. Now, the Patriots aren't game planning for this, but what it showed is that the middle was open. Like, that's where they went with. But a lot of their throws were short throws. Like it really did remind me of the 2022 Eagles defense. They got a ton of pass rush. The linebackers, and we'll get into both individuals, but like the linebackers created 2 turnovers. And that's how in 2022 they won. They got pass rush and they created turnovers, right? Like that's how they won. And they were up big, so teams had to throw and those type of things. But that's the recipe for them to win this year too, is if that pass rush can be good. And the Patriots offensive line is not terrible. Like their quarterback is bad and the skill players are bad, but they have a good interior of that line. And the interior of the defensive line got to Jacoby Brissett. So I thought that was obviously like what you wanted to see, because we've talked so much after these practices in Philadelphia where it's, like there was no pass rush. Like I didn't notice Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff got a sack yesterday. Jordan Davis got after Jacoby Brissett. Jalen Carter had a period where he just absolutely dominated. Brandon Graham got a sack. So, the pass rush that hasn't really been there at times in camp, like was very much on display yesterday.
Which is great, because that's certainly one of the bigger concerns that I think Eagles fans have is the pass rush. Again, it's hard to like I never overrate the training camp, training practice stuff too much to begin with, but it's what you want to see with the way they've played this spring or this training camp to lead in and handle business was what you would hope for.
Well, so the other thing that I think, like why this matters. So I remember last year when the Cleveland Browns came to the NovaCare for a joint practice, 2 days of it. The first day, they lost. Like the Browns outplayed the Eagles that day. Myles Garrett dominated, but that was on the field. Like off the field, what I noticed there is the Browns came into the NovaCare and like punked the Eagles that day. They came in and they were the aggressor. They came in, like I remember watching them walk out to the practice field. They were like yelling, like they came in with a swagger. And they came in like wanting to beat the Eagles because the Eagles were the team that were just in the Super Bowl. The Eagles were the team supposed to go to the Super Bowl. And it was a good indication that Eagles team was not ready to handle what happened. And in the other joint practice against the Colts, like Jason Kelce clocked that guy at the end of practice. Like I thought like the X's and O's so much of the joint practices weren't the main takeaway. Just the kind of against the Colts, like the recklessness to Kelce to do that. But also the fact that they didn't match the other team's intensity kind of ended up being an indication of what the team was like that year. Yesterday, I thought the Eagles were the aggressor. The Eagles had the swagger. The Eagles were the ones talking trash. The Eagles were the one like doing that. So it didn't have like that big, intense end of practice, which normally joint practices do. And that was disappointing. But I thought the Eagles, like from a personality standpoint, like brought it yesterday. And that does matter off of what we saw last year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see this team believe in themselves, like actually go out with confidence. That was clearly missing. All right, let's get into specifics. Let's start with the defense, because we start with the offense most times, and it seems like a good day for the defense. Who stood out to you?
So, your boy, man.
Nakobe.
I got to give him credit.
Not done.
Nakobe's been really good. Nakobe had a play in coverage yesterday, which was extremely encouraging. So it was a pass in the back of the end zone. And I forget, it was a tight end that got it. I forget which tight end it was, but the guy on the Patriots like had both his hands on it and looked like he was going to come down with it and it was going to be a touchdown. And Nakobe like got in there and deflected it out of his hands, popped up, and Zach Bond intercepted it. And obviously Zach Bond gets the interception. Great play by the defense overall. But seeing Nakobe make that play in coverage was extreme, was awesome to see, because where he has really struggled so far is coverage. I just don't think he has an NFL body for coverage, for like one-on-one coverage. And especially like his height is not great. So to see him go up and make that play was good. But just to make a play in coverage in general, Nakobe went wild afterwards. And I do think getting consistent healthy snaps for him has been good. In 2022 as a rookie, he got it, but like it didn't really matter. He wasn't going to play. Last year, he got hurt in training camp, if I remember correctly, and then also obviously got hurt in the first game. So he just couldn't stay healthy. So this is probably the best stretch he's had. The best stretch he's had of just like meaningful first team, like competing for a job snaps. And he's improved as camp has gone on. The other beat writers still think he like super struggles in coverage, and I do agree. So I think there's still that. But I think he's probably had a better camp than like Devin White. Like Devin White hasn't really stood out. That doesn't mean Devin White's been bad. He just hasn't stood out. So I think like Nakobe, the stock is up on Nakobe, I think, for the first time in a long time.
Oh, look at that. What a thrill. Yeah. Making the team, maybe play a little bit. Trotter Jr. as well. Like, some young linebacker play from the
Yeah,
Eagles.
so Trotter Jr. also had to play in coverage, which, these are two guys that you thought in coverage wouldn't be that great. Trotter Jr. jumped in front of a pass from Jacoby Brissett. It was like he had really tight coverage. It probably wasn't a great throw by Jacoby, but because he was so tight on the guy, he was able to he didn't jump in front of it from like a yard out. He kind of just leaned in and grabbed it. And in a game, it might have been a pick six. Like he was off and running once he got that thing. They called it dead just because they were so far from the end zone. But yeah, a great play by Trotter, and Trotter's really pushing for starting reps. I think it would not shock me, and this is something I wouldn't have felt a week ago, if the starting linebackers next year are Nakobe and Trotter.
Wow.
I think you need somebody that can be a little better in one-on-one coverage than either of them, because Trotter, I think, still can prove it. Nakobe, I just don't think can do it. But Devin White so maybe ends up being that guy, or Zach Bond. But I think the Eagles have to feel really good about what they've seen from their two young linebackers.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean and they're not, Devin White's a 1-year deal, but the Eagles, even they finally spent at running back, they still have not spent at linebacker. They very rarely will spend at linebacker, the Bradham thing, and even then that wasn't a ton of money. So they need to hit on guys. That's the way they're gonna get
Edwards,
linebackers.
Hit
on third, fourth, fifth, sixth, undrafted. That's what they gotta hit. So if they could have at least hit on even one of those two, it'd be massive.
Well, and I think the other thing that's helping the linebackers out, and look, the two plays I described are individual plays. Those are, players making plays, not a scheme thing. But I think what's helping everybody out is the defense is just better coached than it was at the end of last year. So you're not seeing these massive gaps where, guys are wide open or guys are running open over in the middle of the field and the linebacker's 5 yards behind, where, yes, the linebacker should have done better, but also it was probably a breakdown in coverage. So, Bradbury, who I've used as the poster child for this, Bradbury has looked good at safety. Bradbury made a play yesterday that was going to be a catch. He got in there, deflected the ball. I think he's been good at safety. And Vic Fangio, who we agree doesn't just say things, has said that Bradbury has been good at safety. So when everyone else around you in a defense, I think it matters more on defense than it does on offense. And offense, individual skill can really cover up bad plays. The quarterback can make a play like Jalen does on the fly, or a running back can make someone miss in the backfield, and then it's a big play. On defense, you really need everyone on the same page. And when that's happening, guys don't have Bradbury doesn't look slower because he's where he's supposed to be, and the guy that's forcing the guy there is where he's supposed to be. And that's what's happening in camp so far. Bradbury's look good, the linebackers have looked good. And even though, again, they gave up a high percentage of passes yesterday, it was all short dink and dunk stuff. The biggest play of the day for the Patriots was a down the field play to Jalen Reagor, who, of course, went up and made a big catch. But it was over Keely Ringo, who I think did not have a great day. But that was kind of it. Outside of that, it was all short stuff, and that was more an individual play than it was a breakdown. So the defense just looks more cohesive, I think, than it did definitely at the end of last year, for sure. The defense at the beginning of the year last year, I think, gets underrated a little. But at the end of the year last year, the defense looked poorly coached. They look better coached now.
What about the pass rush? I heard a lot of, there was the Patriots beat writer whose tweet went viral with I've lost count of how many sacks.
That's what I'm saying. Honestly, the Patriots writers came away almost more impressed with the Eagles than I thought the Eagles writers did. And that does probably speak to the fact that they're used to watching a trash
really
team
bad.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive line dominated. Like I said, Brandon Graham got a sack, Bryce Huff got a sack. And I think what really stood out, so my watching it live opinion was the pass rush was good. I will take the Patriots' words for it because they were doing split field. So I'm watching the defense and the offense and the defense and the offense. The Patriots writers clearly felt that the Eagles absolutely dominated. And I could see that. The Jacoby Brissett was constantly moving. They did have to blow a lot of plays dead for sacks. I didn't track sacks on the defensive side. But again, I saw Huff get one. I saw BG get one. I saw two linebackers get one. The Eagles blitzed quite a bit up the middle, and the Patriots were not ready for that. The Patriots on the other side blitzed as well. I wonder if the coaches were both let's work on the blitz today, because they actually did in a joint practice against the Dolphins 2 years ago. So I think it's possible they did that. But yeah, I thought the defensive line did what they were supposed to do. The Patriots offensive line is not terrible, but overall I thought they dominated.
All right, what about the secondary? You mentioned Bradbury, you mentioned Keely having a play where it didn't look great. What happened with the secondary?
So I thought Slay had a really good day. I think Slay's having a really good camp. he is always right with guys. He had a nice pass deflection yesterday. I thought he had some good one-on-one reps. I thought Quinion was good in one-on-ones. The consensus, like talking to everybody, was he wasn't as good as maybe I thought, but just my eye, I thought he looked good. He's a physical guy. Like that's why I think he actually will work well in the nickel if that's where they play him, and we'll get to the Cooper DeJean thing. But Quinion is not afraid to get handsy, and that's surprising because he played so much off coverage in college. But in these one-on-one reps, when he's up on the line, I don't think it's a foul or a flag, but he's with guys. Like he uses his hands, he's right with them. And that was, I thought, good to see. So I thought he had a pretty good day. The secondary, like I said, Jalen Reagor want to jump all over Keely Ringo. Like you never want to see that of all the players who do it. Jalen Reagor, not the one you want to see. Keely's definitely great coverage, great catch guy. Like he's there. Wow, that was good coverage, but the guy came down with it. So Keely was only, okay. But outside of that, I didn't think the secondary was bad. Like the Patriots got almost nothing going. I think I tracked one touchdown all day from the Patriots first team offense. And Jalen ran 47 reps. I wasn't counting reps for the Patriots, but I'd imagine Jacoby ran, around the same. They put Drake May in a little more, but the first team defense was probably out there for 40 plus plays. And I only gave up one touchdown.
Wow. That's what you want to hear. Again, it's a bad offense, but you want to hear that they're dominating that bad offense. All right, let's get to Jalen, and then we'll do the rest of the offense. Jalen himself earned another good grade. No interceptions. The streak lives.
219 throws. 219 straight throws. By the way, I hadn't heard that AJ clip.
Yeah, AJ Brown taking a shot at our guy.
Whoa. I actually don't think it was a shot.
It was a clear shot.
No. I think
he's basically like, who cares about interceptions in practice? Practice is the time to throw interceptions. We're going for it. We're trying. Who cares?
I think what he's saying is,
basically said, who cares?
I know we keep the stats, but it's okay if you throw interceptions.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think the main, I agree. I think he's wrong that I do think the no interceptions matters because it speaks to Jalen protecting the football, which was something he didn't do last year. But I think, and I'm not saying I agree fully with what he's saying, but I think AJ Brown's main point was, who cares? It's practice. Practice is when you should be doing weird stuff and trying things and all that.
So shots at Jalen.
It's been there.
Not me.
I think it's more shots at you. But let's go.
I forget what Jalen. Okay, so here's the stats for AJ. 24 of 28, one touchdown, no interceptions. He was good. So I thought, and AJ will like this. Like he took shots down the field. Yesterday against the Patriots. Like the four big throws I can think of by him that were good were all 20 plus yards. He had one touchdown. I actually think he should have got two. I'll agree with AJ on this. I'll describe that play in a minute. But his best throws he had were one down the left sideline to Devontae. Just a really nice throw. Devontae was open. There was no safety help, so he had plenty of room to kind of air it out and give it to him. I think in a game it probably would have been a touchdown, but when you're two-hand touching, it's a lot easier to end a play than it is if you actually have to bring the guy down. But it was a really nice throw down the left sideline. He had a really, really nice throw to Saquon. And the Eagles tweeted out the clip, so you can watch it. I tweeted it as well. But it was a wheel route to Saquon down the right sideline. Saquon beat his guy pretty good. Like there was probably a yard or so of space between the two. But what made the throw impressive was Saquon was pretty close to the sideline and the front pylon. So Jalen had to put it in a place where he didn't lead Saquon out of the end zone. Like you kind of had to hit him perfectly in stride as he was crossing the goal line. And that's exactly where he hit him. So a really nice touch pass there by Jalen to Saquon. And then the last one, I didn't even think it was a catch. It was such a good throw and catch, but the ref called it in. So AJ was going across the right side to the left side on a crossing route. Jalen threw it up. And when I use this phrase a lot and it's accurate, but this was the closest you could get. He put it over the fingertips of the defender by a centimeter. It was if you're watching this on video, right over it to AJ. Good concentration by AJ to bring it in. And it was one of those throws catches where the guy catches it almost like that in Santonio Holmes Super Bowl catch, where he's catching it out of bounds, but his lower body is staying in bounds as his upper body carries him out. And it was just an outstanding catch by AJ. Great throw. And then the other throw that I thought was really good that I thought the Eagles kind of got screwed on. And this is where I would have liked to see the offense do a little better. So at the end of joint practice, normally they do a all 180 players watching one field, super intense, very much game-like. They didn't do that yesterday. Instead, they did split field. But it was still an end of the field live drill where they were moving the ball. Like if you get 4 yards, you move it 4 yards. So it's 2nd and 6. If you don't, like, they were doing that. And the Eagles took 13 plays and didn't score a touchdown. So that was not good. They had 2 penalties on the drive. Jordan Mailata has been getting a lot of penalties. Like, it's definitely something that is increasing as camp is going on. But at the end of that play, at the end of that drive, and I agree with AJ on this, Jalen hit AJ for about 20 yards, and the momentum of the defender carried the guy past AJ as he caught it, but he put his hands out and touched him. There is no shot in a game he is tackling AJ.
him,
No shot. Like, that would have been a touchdown in
Yeah.
the game. I would literally bet my life on it. That would be a touchdown. So it didn't count in the thing, and that's how I have to count it. But in theory, it should have ended with a touchdown. But 13 plays and 2 penalties against that Patriots defense, which you made this point last year after game 1. I know it's not the same guys, but they have a better defense than offense. Like, they have guys on defense.
Without a doubt.
So it just, you would have liked
like
to
without a doubt. Yeah.
You would have liked to see,
and Mayo, new coach, but like
the defensive guy too,
was under Belichick forever.
You would have liked to see, like, the Eagles just go down the field. Like, that's in the great joint practices I've covered, they end the day with like a statement drive for a touchdown. And that would be the one downside, I think, to yesterday, is if they would have gone like 6 plays, touchdown, boom, then you're talking about, like, Brandon was asking me on the sideline, like, what's the score? I thought they won that practice.
Brandon Lee Gowton, not Brandon Graham.
No, not Brandon Graham. Yes. That would be funny. If well, they covered the stats, so who knows? But he asked me what the score would have been. I felt like going into that final drive, it was like, I don't know, 20-9, where it's like a good, you're up, you're winning, the game is within control, but it's not, you're like 2 bad things away from all of a sudden it's like, wow, they let this bad team hang around. I thought if they would have scored at the end there, then you're talking like that was a dominant, like, great performance. That was really the only downside I thought to the day, that I would have liked to see a better drive by the offense at the end.
Okay, and that's acceptable. But look, again,
not the end of the world, but still, like,
no, but still, you're playing one of the worst teams in football. So, and again, look, I think that, it seems like this joint practice maybe not quite as physical as some of the others you've been to.
It wasn't as intense.
Yeah,
like, now the Eagles brought it, but the Patriots were.
I mean, that's an issue in the sense of like, look, and we don't care about the guys playing in the preseason, the offensive players and stuff, but you always said the joint practice is where they get that intensity, that real level of what a game might feel like. And it feels like they might not get that this preseason or this training camp session. With the only one, they usually do more than one. With
they normally do 4.
Yeah, and they only did one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, normally they do 4, and it's like 2 days for one of them, and it's like, it feels like there's real competition happening in those things, that it doesn't feel like, unless they play on Thursday, because they only did one training camp.
Yeah. But even if they do, they're not. It's not going to play into the third.
Yeah,
like,
so
and those games aren't intense anyway.
And I don't know that has to happen for them to be good. Like, again, I'm Mr. Like, I'm not going to overreact to anything that happens in training camp unless it's super bad or super good or whatever, or specifically a position battle, which is always my caveat. But I do think that it's less. We like, again, the preseason game thing is its own thing. They will be getting less intense game-like action heading into the season this year, potentially than others.
So this is kind of what I started the pod with off of that point, because I think it's true. Like, this team is going to have to ramp it up big time all of a sudden in Green Bay, and I think that's why yesterday.
Brazil.
Sorry, versus. What's funny? I always want to say in Brazil, and then not say the opponent. So I think in my head, I flipped them. Like, they're gonna have to ramp it up big time against Green Bay in Brazil. There it is. But like, so here would be my worry to kind of go where I went with the pod. And I'll use an analogy that maybe won't hit home with everyone, but it'll hit home with me. And I think it'll be a good point. So Leeds, obviously the team I follow, like, all preseason, it was, they have the best team. They're going to dominate. They're killing it in preseason. They look great. Like, this is going to be quite the year. Like, they're going to whatever. And then they go and play their first game against a bad team and they tie. And I think for me, it was a reminder, like, and you say this a lot, like, everything has to be put in perspective, that it's the preseason, right? So while I definitely, like, I can only analyze what I'm seeing, and there is no question, if Eagles fans got to watch everything, they would feel like sky is the limit for this team. They look clean, like, all those things. There is a part of me that still feels worried that week 1 on the road against a great team in a weird atmosphere, it's going to be hard to come out and look great right away. It just is.
And
so
the Packers are, like, for what it's worth,
they are playing their guys.
Jordan Love played. I was like,
how much did he play?
One series, but he threw a 60-yard touchdown or whatever. It was 45-yard touchdown or whatever.
Pretty
like,
good.
Yeah, that's why they stopped playing, because he scored real quick. It's like he was 2 for 2 for like 65 yards on the touchdown, but he was 2 for 2. You know, so it's like, and again, hammer home, like, I have never been they have to play in the preseason guy, but like when you're talking about live reps, live game, real action, like, it is possible that Green Bay is a little more ready to start the game than the Eagles are. Like, that's on the table.
And I do wonder if sometimes the Eagles, so the reason they aren't doing joint practices, Nick gave an excuse, but frankly, like, it's weird. Like, he was like, we couldn't schedule it. Like, come on, man. You could schedule it if you wanted to do it. I do wonder if one of the reasons is they play the Ravens this year and they didn't want to play them in a joint practice because they are so big.
Oh my God, they're over the top. It's ridiculous.
Of like hiding.
Yeah, it's
right. So that could be it too. Like, maybe they don't want to joint practice against a team because, like, then they think they'll show too much of what their new offense is going to look like, and like that could be it. But they are definitely like buttoning things up in terms of that, and I think that's probably one of the reasons. Yeah. So I love joint practices. I think they're a great look at the team. I do agree with the Eagles. Like, in the past years, I've backed the Eagles up on this, saying they don't play into preseason because they're getting good work at the joint practice. Like, I firmly believe that. They're just not getting as much work.
Well, and that's the issue.
And honestly, even yesterday, the practice was like 2 hours. They probably spent an hour of it like doing their own thing. Not straight, but like throughout practice. You know? Like,
so it's a lot less than they've had the last
few
years.
He took a lot of team reps for sure. But I thought it would be like, the 2 teams together the whole time.
Especially when you're only doing one day.
And it was not that.
Yeah, no. So I'm a little, again, as someone who is not overly concerned about preseason work, it is like my antenna's up a little bit on that, especially if they start the Brazil game a little slow.
But I mean, they could
come out fresh. It could work the other way.
Or they could play great and lose. Like, the Packers are a good
well, that's
team,
a whole separate thing.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the rest of the offense. But first, download the BetParx Casino and Sports app. It's go time. We are less than a month. We are 3 weeks away from the open of the season. Like, we're going to be gambling on every game every week. We're going to be picking every game every week. Like, listen to the pod. Why not be a part of the whole thing? Have fun with us. Make some money along the way. You can bet on all kinds of football futures. BetParx Picks Pod coming out later this week. We'll get you set for the season, obviously, as we are creeping up on it. Football futures. You bet on baseball. Bet against Philadelphia. That's probably a good bet most nights now.
I'm like, I don't know. I'll save my Phillies opinion.
Yeah,
I feel the same way I always have.
I don't even want to talk about the Phillies.
But also, I was wrong about the Eagles crash.
Yeah, you were.
So like, I'm not one.
Look, I think it's different in baseball. I don't think the season's over or anything like that, but I think you absolutely have to be worried.
Yeah.
Like,
look, you want to see them play better.
Freaking mess right now.
I just still think they'll make the playoffs.
Baseball's
they'll play games 5, 6. Like, we'll just see what happens. It's
baseball's dumb these days with that. But regardless, you can bet against them right now. Probably a good bet.
Or get good World Series odds.
So look at that. yeah. Again, futures odds, a great way to have some fun and watch team for a while, make some money. Plus, in addition to all the sports stuff, you got a casino right in your hands. You can play baccarat. Roulette.
I love the word baccarat.
I know. Well, I used to say baccarat, and then it turned out that I was scolded on the air. Richie and I said baccarat.
Interesting.
And someone called up and was like, yo, it's baccarat. Like,
I would love to know how you play baccarat.
Baccarat. Yeah. So, yeah, to open up your app and you can learn. Maybe
it
might cost you a few shekels.
I would definitely lose a few shekels.
So, here's the beautiful thing. You can play all the games, live dealer, blackjack, roulette, all that good stuff. Plus, online slot games like Lucky Cherry and Fantastic Firework and stuff. But to Elliot's point there, you could go on and learn how to play baccarat because of the amazing deal they offer.
Good point by you.
If you're down betting, new user, down in the first 24 hours, you get $1,000 in casino bonus back. So you go in, learn how to play baccarat, you lose, you get $1,000 in casino bonus back. Winner,
I would
right
maybe
there.
do that before you play baccarat with someone live.
Well, it's possible.
It's almost like the preseason.
But you got to go down to get, so go down early, learn to play a little bit, lose some money, get the grand, win the money back and more. It's a beautiful deal.
Yeah.
Bonus wager must. Look at that.
Look.
Casino wager.
But you fought through it, which I like.
Know. I tried to. I just kind of pushed through. Casino bonus must be wagered. All the terms and conditions are at betparx.com. You must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem. Going Andrew Gambler. I nothing to read there. It's off the top of the head.
That was good. So I do want to read this because I just think this quote from Vicky, as we've talked about, just really sums it up. The immortal Vicky. I got to meet Vicky, and I want to see her house with her windows.
Sure.
because the people are talking. And Vicky, here's what she is quoted as saying: "We couldn't be happier." You like to hear that. "This was a great experience." And that's what you want to hear when you get customer reviews. I would love to get
right to
customer
the
reviews
point.
about that
Yes.
with Go Birds. In fact, it'd be really funny if
Do
someone
you
left a
think
five.
Vicky thought she would get quoted this much?
No, I
She
think Vicky
yeah,
had no idea. But I would be funny if a Go Birds listener left a review 5-star. "We couldn't be happier. This was a great experience."
yeah,
I would very
exactly.
much appreciate that. And of
And
course,
then dash Vicky.
yes,
at the
yeah,
bottom.
dash Vicky. Vicky's got to be a real one auto downloader for sure. But this is what people say when they talk about Window Nation. And she is just one of, as we said before, but the number still blows my mind every time. I think I'm like misreading it. 33,000 5-star reviews.
Insane.
I mean, that's got to be how many windows? Let's say 4 conservatively.
Brother.
4 times 33,000. Like,
a lot
that's
of math. You're asking me to do math.
yeah. But one of the reasons is that's not surprising is that's because Window Nation is all about value. And this August, they're giving you a great value during the Window Nation anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There is no limit to how much you could save. Plus, you could save big with no interest or payments for 24 months. Act now and you'll get an extra $250 credit as well. Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability. That's why they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. Window Nation was also recently ranked, and I love this part, ranked on highest on the Forbes list of best window installation companies. I would love to be on a Forbes list just once in my life.
Yeah.
For one thing, podcast, Twitter, coverage, something. I feel like probably won't happen. But
I wouldn't bet on it.
No, not at this point. But you can trust Window Nation for high quality, affordable windows. Stop paying more than you have to. Hurry. The sale ends August 31st. So schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
All right, let's get to the offense. Who stood out? Obviously we talked Jalen outside. Like who kind of flashed?
Yeah, I think sometimes with the players the Eagles have, you kind of overlook or take for granted how good they are. But when they're on the field with another set of receivers, it just stands out. Like AJ and Devontae are just unbelievable. Like they just torched the Patriots all day. AJ, I hear like people that really coach football use this term, and I don't always have a great like time visualizing it. But there was a play yesterday that just
strong hands.
Yeah. Like AJ's hands are just when he gets his hands on a football, like that's it. Like there is no taking it from him. There was a play yesterday where it wasn't like a 25-yard catch, it wasn't like a huge gain, but he just went like 8 yards, cut in. They threw the ball to him. He just like used those big strong hands of his, grabbed onto the football, and like that was it. Like the Patriots had no chance at that point. Devontae had a route in one-on-ones where he just embarrassed one of the Patriots defensive backs. He must have created 2 yards of separation, if not 3 yards, which is really hard to do in one-on-one. So they just were awesome. I mean, I think I had them both down with 6 catches or 7 catches on the day. AJ, I believe, caught 7 of the 8 targets thrown his way, something like that. So they just dominated. The offensive line. So I thought the offensive line was okay. The Patriots definitely blitzed quite a bit, which I'm sure the Eagles were happy with.
Mekhi Becton, by the way, fully in it.
Mekhi Becton, the right guard.
The right guard.
The competition is over.
Yep.
It is his,
Yep.
barring poor play. And,
for
what's
right
worth,
now,
N'Kobe ended up, I thought that was over. So who knows? But I think he has a stronger hold on it just because you're not cycling guys in and out like you are at linebacker. Becton, like hard to tell watching, but, I thought there was pressure on Jalen for sure. Mailata keeps jumping off sides. And we'll see if in it, maybe he's trying things in preseason or practices that he's not going to try in a game. But it does feel like once every 2 practices, there's a flag on Mailata, or at least on the line, and it looks like it's on Mailata. So that has started as camp has gone on. They are starting to get a little sloppier, I think, with like the false starts. So you want to see that kind of get nipped in the bud. But I thought Jalen did a good job handling the pressure. They did, I believe, 5 team sessions. He had 47 plays or reps. Let's say, so 28 attempts. Like they had 4 sacks on the day is what I had the Patriots down for. So not terrible. And again, it's hard to tell with Jalen because I think sometimes these plays that get counted as sacks, like Jalen probably gets out of them in a game. I didn't think there were any like full on jailbreak, like right to him type of things, but they definitely got pressure. So of everything with the team, like the offense, the defense, the quarterbacks, like all that. Like I thought the line was the one where you would have liked to see him be a little better.
Yeah, and that's a concern. Obviously, I think offensively, that's our biggest question mark.
Yeah, but the line always doesn't look. I feel like we've done so many
Wait,
years of pods where I'm like the line.
but
I know it's different now for sure.
For the first time, we're coming off a year where the offensive line was a disaster. So
and they have no Kelsey.
Well, and they have no Kelsey.
Yeah.
On top of that, but even if they had Kelsey, it would be different because of last year.
Right.
And they don't have Kelsey. Exactly right. So like this is the first year where it's like that does make me nervous.
And I think Stoutland deserves a benefit of the doubt and all that. But yeah, for sure. Like
it's the question mark.
If you told me
that Jalen, but
if you told me 8 weeks into the season they're 4-4 or 3-5 or whatever, I think the reason will be the offensive line. I don't think it'll be the defense. I don't think it'll be Jalen. I think it'll be the offense.
Yeah, I lean that way generally too. How is Jalen's pocket mobility?
Just good. I mean, he's
bailing out and stuff.
He's just been awesome, man.
So here's my other question about Jalen, and then it can lead into other guys. So AJ and Devontae, great. Tell us something we don't know.
Yeah.
But
when you watch Jalen Reagor on the other side, you really remember how far they've come.
I'm joking. Yeah. It's amazing.
No, I know.
Yeah. I mean, Dorial Green-Beckham was a starter for this team.
Yeah.
Like, was Jalen spreading it around though? Because you hear that 6 catches for each. That's great, and I want them to be super involved. But like one of the things we've seen Jalen do a lot through training camp, and one of my biggest things coming in is like throw the open guy. Like if Saquon's open, throw it to him. If Dallas is open, throw it to him. Like don't. How did that look in terms of spread? And maybe if AJ and Devontae are just always open, you could throw it to him. Like it's all good. But in terms of spreading the ball around, in terms of taking what was given to him, in terms of the checkdowns, because that's something that we've been happy with in the game situation with the joint practice. How did that?
So I didn't think he spread it around yesterday. Now I don't think that's the end of the world though. Like they're really only like 80% of the targets are going to go to Devontae, AJ, and Goddard. It just is what it is. You are right that you want to throw him to the open guy. And I'm not watching the all 22 tape. I'm just watching it live. There were no times I thought yesterday where it was like, he
forced it into
it. Like Albert O is wide open and he didn't do that. But if you look on the training camp so far, Devontae has 50 targets, AJ Brown is 57 targets, and Goddard is 25. So he is definitely throwing it to AJ and Devontae a lot. And I'll be curious to see on the season how that works out. I don't, maybe before the season, you can come up with just for fun, like how we want to see it distributed thing, just because like, I think it'll be AJ and Devontae a lot. Like they're both really good. They get open. Like it makes complete sense to throw it to them. But like Goddard is 25 and Barkley and Saquon has 19. Like it's kind of close when you consider a running back to a tight end.
Yeah.
So I thought like Goddard yesterday, I think only had 2 passes thrown his way, maybe 2 or 3. And Devontae and AJ both had easily double that. So he definitely leaned on AJ and Devontae. There was one 7-on-7 drill where he threw it 6 times, and I think all 6 went to AJ and Devontae.
And that's a little.
But I sorry.
So I'm not concerned. Like I want Devontae and AJ to get the ball the most. I think they're the best players, but at the same time, we remember last year with the whole Goddard thing early in the season, and look, Goddard was the one who was like kind of blamed Jalen for the sack thing, for the blitz. Like, hey, we got the answers, like the Jalen Goddard thing, where it's like at a certain point, we want harmony in this locker room. Right? And if you're winning, you're winning. But like even last year, when they were 10-1, that's when Goddard was starting to feel a little uncomfortable about not getting the ball. We did that show where you were like, I'm nervous about the Dallas Goddard thing.
Yeah.
He's only gotten this many targets. And I think he had a big game after that.
Naturally. Which is why Jalen is definitely going to throw an interception.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Like there's no question about it.
But to my point, you know what I mean? Like I know that Jalen's going to throw the ball to AJ and Devontae. I know that they're going to find ways to get Saquon involved. Like Goddard is the piece that I feel like could get left out in this. And I think that look, and I understand he's the one who's not signed long-term and there's all kinds of parts of this. Then that's another potential issue where he's the one playing for a contract more than anyone else.
Yeah. Like he could be gone.
Right.
For sure. So, and he might want to leave it.
Where 2 targets yesterday, like where you like, is that something we're talking? And again, we're this is little stuff because we're pretty positive where the Eagles are at right now. But is that something that's on your radar as something that could turn into something?
So I think, I hate to use this cop-out answer, but I think it's just if they win or not. Like I think if they're
it happened last year when they were winning, and then they started losing. Is my point.
But in 2022, I'd be curious to look at the targets. Like Goddard wasn't getting a ton that year. So
he had just gotten paid.
True. Yeah.
I
mean, look, like I sympathize with Goddard on this. Like Goddard could go to a team and be the number 1 type option,
or at least number 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like or not be number 4,
a focal point of the offense.
Right, exactly. So I think it's one of those instances where everyone wants every every player on the team they root for to only want the team to win. And Goddard wants to win. But I understand from a personal level, like players play this game to like make an impact, to create a legacy, to make money. And I understand from Goddard's perspective why if at the end of the year he looks and he goes, I could go to, let's say, Kansas City if Travis Kelce retires, or I could stay in Philly. Like I'm sure he likes it here and he lives here and all those things. But at a certain point, a player wants to get the ball. And I just don't think he's going to get a ton of targets this year. Like it's in training camp, but he's very, very clearly behind AJ and Devontae.
Yeah.
Like, this is what
and
it
again,
is.
That's fine.
And I think the use of 2 tight ends is going to cut into his thing too, because
I'm just nervous about it. If I'm looking for things that could turn into something over the course, if we're looking for locker room type stuff, like that's a concern because it does. And again, to get paid, the whole thing, I could see,
right.
And again, if they're, if they win, it's the kind of thing where maybe there's a little, tumult, so to speak, but they can work through it because they're winning and stuff. But a little concerned.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah.
And again, and look, I get it. I think he's the 4th best of the weapons. Like ultimately, I want Devontae and AJ and Saquon to touch the ball more. It's back to the Jalen point of like, if defenses are focusing their coverage on Devontae and AJ, don't be afraid to use Goddard a lot. Don't be afraid to, like, I think Jalen needs to do that more. Whereas last year he was just kept forcing it into the same spot.
I agree. And I truly don't think he's done that in camp. I mean, I looked it up in the joint practice. I think he targeted like 11 players. So not the joint practice, sorry, the open practice at the link. Like he has been spreading it around, but I think your point is absolutely fair.
Yeah. All right. Anything else offensively stood out? And then we'll get big picture.
Well, Johnny Wilson didn't have a great practice. Paris Campbell's back, but didn't do team.
So who's the third receiver? If
I think it'll be Paris Campbell,
even without
Johnny
practicing
Wilson.
For a while.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, or Johnny Wilson's a big statement.
I mean, Johnny Wilson gets a lot of first team reps, a lot. I think it could be Covey, and like Covey will get on the field offensively the first game of the season. It's just, I don't think anyone has like ran away with it. Like John Ross had a good practice yesterday, but John Ross mostly did it with the second team, not the first team. So I still think they could use a receiver just to have, like, just because Wilson, Covey, like Ross, they're all very unproven. Campbell's proven to an extent, but he's
not. I mean, he's
a nice player.
And even then, he's not done much in the NFL.
No, and he's
been hurt a lot and all that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think they need another receiver.
Yeah,
like, that is a position I think they need more than others.
Starting to trend that way. Yeah. And again, especially the point of if they are going to spread it around more and all that. All right. Yeah. Big picture. Any other thoughts from being up there, from watching the team in their only joint practice, from where they go from here?
Well, there was the Nick.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, so for those who didn't hear, apparently, like a kid who said
he was
like
9 or 10.
Like Bill's gonna take your job, and
I think Nick definitely heard it.
He definitely heard it
because the PR rep with him definitely heard
it. Yeah, and you know what? Like earmuffs 1, 2, 3. Go fuck yourself, kid. All right. All right. Go fuck yourself. Why don't you go back with your stupid Boston fucking titles and be very grateful that you actually got to see some championships as a child and all that. And now you're going to go on a freaking drought. All right. Kid, that's my official statement to the kid from Boston. Go fuck yourself.
Well, the funniest thing
that's how I feel. Fuck off.
I look at this. The other takeaway is
it's rude.
It's very rude. It's very mean-spirited.
It's mean-spirited.
Like, honestly, I think it'd be better to be like, "Hey, Nick, you suck." Like
exactly,
very basic,
exactly. Like like whatever. Stuff. Like so, like kid, like
again, maybe
F off. How about that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Go F yourself. Is that better? Do you like that better?
But
I don't care.
All right.
Yeah, don't be a little dick.
All right. Well, there we go. Wow, earmuffs 1, 2, 3.
Dick. You can say Dick. There are people named Dick. Kid's name might be Richard.
I think that's definitely an earmuffs.
You think so?
For Tucker.
I'm just upset we're not going to get any ad revenue from this episode now.
Oh no.
So yeah,
that just went down the drain.
But
is that true with the cursing?
I do have to put a little
check mark too, maybe.
But you can cut it out then, I guess, at the pod.
I will let YouTube know you did say earmuffs 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that'll add to it.
It
was interesting watching the Patriots fans. Like they were in awe of the stars, like Saquon, AJ, Jalen. Like they were asking for their autographs. Yeah. They were asking Big Dom for pictures. Like the Eagles,
like
they have star power.
There. What a joke! What an embarrassment! I'm a Patriots fan. I saw 6 championships in the last 20 years. Oh, can I get your autograph, Jalen? That is honestly, that's one of the more embarrassing fan things you've ever said to me. Is that this franchise that has won 6 like act like you've been there, but Eagle. Oh, it's DJ
Yeah,
Brown.
they were very
Oh,
excited.
what a bunch of losers.
Yeah,
This
they
is
were-
great.
they
At
were
least
excited.
Boston's down.
Yeah.
Minus the Celtics.
Yeah, minus that. Just the one championship.
Who
they
cares
won in
about?
the
No one
past.
cares about basketball though. So.
That was I think my last. Well, there's the Cooper DeJean thing.
Oh yeah, he's back.
Yeah. So
Anything to say with that?
Cooper was back at practice. Didn't do team. I do think one way they could. I think Cooper will probably slow work back into the team. I don't think he will have like a starting role week 1, but who knows? Like anything's possible. But I think if he does, what they could do honestly is move Quinion to the outside and start Cooper at nickel. Like I think that could be the natural progression.
And then Quinion start on the outside.
Quinion outside,
so Keely and
Slay
Isaiah
on the other
just on the
bench. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think Keely's earned a starting job.
Keely hasn't, but what about Rodgers?
He's been awesome, but like, sorry, man, like Quinion's the first round pick.
Yeah.
Like, and Quinion's been awesome too. Like, I don't think they're handing Quinion the job.
Right,
Quinion
right.
has earned the job.
Right.
So that would be if they want to get Cooper out there.
What do you think? Well, I think it's most likely Quinion in the slot.
Yeah, I think so too.
Isaiah on the
just
other
because the game's in, they'll start prep for the game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's tough to put Cooper just out there like that. But I think that would be the maneuvering eventually.
All right, we'll be back later in the week with the Bet Parks Picks Pod. Get you set from a gambling perspective as the season is right around the corner. Final thoughts.
I have so many good ones. So I have one about a train and one about the Olympics.
We can do one today and one.
Well, what do you want? I mean, you pick. I mean, maybe the Olympics.
Sure.
All right. So I think it's unfortunate, and I'm not diminishing them, but I kind of think world records have lost their luster. Feels like every time I watch the Olympics now, it's a world record. It's an Olympic record.
Pretty
like,
good
I feel like back in the day when someone broke a record, it was like, oh my God, this record has been around.
Michael Johnson. I
yes,
remember.
exactly. Like now it feels like every time they run, they break the record.
That is a great
every time
take. Michael
swim,
Powell, when he broke Bob Beeman's long jump record, it's like, wow.
Yeah, like what a moment. Yeah, I obviously don't remember that one. But like
of course you don't.
Yeah. But like every single time I was watching the Olympics, it was like Olympic record, world record. Like so look,
it's a great
very
take.
impressive still,
no,
but
I'm with you.
It's just not what it used to be.
I agree.
I think even in sports still, like when Jalen broke the training camp record, that was a big deal. When like Barry Bonds
was it
record,
really?
Yeah.
Really? You sure about that?
Yeah. Well, clearly the Eagles feel so.
Yeah.
But
we're not, according to AJ.
But yeah, I think world records, unfortunately. I hate to do it because it's like if I set a world record, I would feel unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I
agree.
think they've lost their luster.
That is a great take by you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look at you.
Appreciate
you got one.
Everyone's in a while.
No, I'm with you. I've had a similar thought. I saw Green Day when they were here.
Yes.
It was awesome. They're freaking rock stars, man.
Play Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Yeah,
Great
they
song.
did.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones I was less interested in.
One of the last great music videos.
Yeah, they played Dookie and American Idiot, which was awesome because they're.
I don't know what Dookie is. I'm sure I'd recognize it. I know American Idiot. I'm sure I'd recognize Dookie is what it's called.
Yes, it was the album that made them Green Day. No,
yeah.
It's like their most famous album. It was the original album.
But the song is called Dookie.
No, the album is called Dookie.
Okay,
they played
right.
all of Dookie and all of the American Idiot album. Not the song, just the song. They played the album. So all the.
Oh, I thought you were saying the song.
Like Basket Case, When I Come Around, like
right.
like you've definitely heard those. Those
sure.
Like
did they play like
Dookie.
full albums?
That's what I'm saying. They played the Dookie
so I like
album
when
then the American Idiot album.
I like when artists do that.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Because so I was thinking about this, and this is actually your opinion from a concert perspective. So when artists put albums together in the order, they clearly put thought into it, right?
Well, I don't know if they do anymore. They used to.
Okay, so maybe they don't anymore. But I feel like you know you think about where you want each song.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting then for a concert they just kind of abandoned that. Like I feel like when you listen to an album straight through, if you love it, you're used to hearing one song after another. So it like it's exciting. You almost think of it as one continuous song. I wish at concerts they did it more where they're like, I'm just gonna play one.
It depends on what you're seeing. Like again, for a band like that doesn't have as many songs, like sure. I mean, like the Dead Fish, like they have like thousands of songs they play. So like part of the fun of going to a concert like that is what am I going to hear?
Yeah.
Like what's next? Oh my God, it could be any song they have. Whereas if they play an album, you're like, all right, I know what's next. So it's like, okay.
I think it'd be cool.
But I do think it could. I in this case, it was cool, but that's also because like I don't really care about much Green Day other than Dookie and American Idiot. So it was a perfect 2 albums for me.
I do think it would be cool if artists advertise like we are going on tour and we are playing the album straight through. Like it'd be fun.
Well, that's what they do when they tour. Usually,
but
every once in a while, they'll do a special show where they play an album that no one knows they're gonna like. Pearl Jam did 10 and Philly one time. Right, like this big deal. But for the most part, that's what the tour is. Hey, we're doing this album.
Right, yeah, but I'm saying they don't do the album like 1 through 20. Like they'll.
Yeah, they do. That's what they did. All of Dookie and then they did all of American Idiot. I'm saying when bands normally they won't do the album, but I'm saying when they do, they usually tour that way. They usually tour and say, "Hey, we're playing this album in full. Come see us."
Yeah, I think that's cool.
So they do that. Yeah. It was good for Green Day in general. I like the idea of not knowing what's coming when I'm at a concert.
Well, I think if you go in knowing what you're walking into.
Well, of course, I'm just saying I like to be surprised at concerts.
Yeah,
it's like the radio.
Well, you know me. I mean, I like just the hits. But if you're gonna not do just the hits,
you want like a 20-minute concert, just play 5 songs.
I saw Glass Animals, dude. Let me tell you, I like Glass Animals, but
I don't know them.
I know it's surprised by that.
Yeah. I might know a song, like I might recognize it, but I don't know.
But I really appreciate artists that like put a lot of thought into like the stage, the lighting, and like putting on a show. Like, it was really, really cool to see the way they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked them and their songs were good, but I feel like what I really enjoyed was like the theatrics of it. It was very cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cool.
Would they have like people on stage, or
well, they just had like a lot of lights and strobes, and
that's like Fish. I
mean,
Fish has Fish's 5th member of the band is Chris Carota, the lighting guy.
That sounds awesome.
He has insane lighting rigs. Like, he created it's like nothing anyone else does lighting wise.
Like their stage
Fish show, and you freaking love a Fish show. The lighting is like the craziest stuff you ever seen.
Their stage was like a spaceship. Like, it was just cool, and like they would like went up and down, and it was cool to see.
All right. Cool. I don't really care if I see the band at all. I just want it to be loud and the music to be good. That's my job.
Well, that's the interesting thing about the
I just
venue.
want space to dance, and I want it to be loud.
That's interesting about the venue. I think it's the Man, right? That's in West Philly. Like,
fantastic.
If you're in, you can like really see the thing, but otherwise you can't see.
Yeah, I don't need that. I like the sound inside, but I'm a lawnman.
Yeah, you seem like a lawnman. Yeah,
I want space. I want to be able to dance. That's my main thing.
Like to bounce around. Yeah,
move. You know.
Feel you.
As long as it's loud.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. In the Man, you can almost sit up there and you can hear it.
Oh, it's
you don't
loud
see
as hell,
but it's really loud.
Loud on the lawn. Yeah, it's tiny venue. All right, this is fun. We'll be back. If you're watching the YouTube, don't go anywhere. But if you're listening to the pod, we'll be back with the Bet Parks Big Pod later in the week. So until then, he's Item James. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. You love to play, you play to win, you bet. Bet Parks, it's the Bet Parks Picks Pod.
We're back.
Eliot Shorr-Parks, we are back. I know it's been a long time since people have heard us.
Dude, like 3 weeks from now, I'll be in Brazil. It's crazy.
That. How about that?
Yeah. What do you think the line will be for week 1? I mean, I'm sure it's out, but like, let's say, but like I'm saying, once like we get to the week of, because I'm sure it'll move.
Oh, I don't think it'll change too much.
You don't think so? Okay.
Maybe a little bit. You're right. It'll probably change them. I think it'll move towards the Packers.
Do you know what it is now?
I believe I will look it up actually, because this is the Bet Parks Picks Pod, and I have the wonderful Bet Parks app open as we speak. So let me pull it up. The week 1 line. Oh, well, we don't care about that. Would you like to know what the Eagles Patriots preseason line is?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles -2.
Eagles are a 2.5-point dog.
Wow.
Oh no! Wow.
That's surprising after they won their first game.
So the Eagles
and the joint practice.
So the line has not moved. The Eagles are still a 1.5-point favorite over the Packers. My guess is by game time the Packers are favorite.
Yeah,
a lot of Packers,
I agree,
hype, buddy.
I agree. I think the Eagles will go into that stadium underdogs.
So the Packers feel like a juiced up version of what the Eagles were in 2022 from a media narrative
or the Lions last year.
Sure. But even more so, it feels like people are even more in on the Packers now. Like, like Jordan Love is like the most beloved quarterback in the world, it seems like right now.
Maybe I'm misremembering, and correct me if I'm wrong. But like going into 2022, I didn't think the Eagles were.
No, they were the most bet. Remember, the Eagles were the most bet team. Everyone was saying take the over, like Warren Sharp and all these people.
Oh, were they in 2022?
Yes, I don't remember this is the breakout team. Warren Sharp. Shout out to our guy Tucker Bagley.
Yeah,
you remember that? You worked for Warren. 2022. Remember, everyone named Warren Sharp was leading the charge, but it was like this is the breakout team. Bet the over. Bet on.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
You remember this? Tucker?
I do remember.
Yeah, they were the hot, sexy team coming in that year where people are like, this is the team that's going to take a leap. They were the most bet team, all that stuff. That feels like the Packers right now. That feels like, and the Packers had more success last year than the Eagles did in 2021 leading into 2022. But it feels like the Packers are like the sexy team right now.
Would you rather be the team getting a ton of hype or a team that like people are down on?
I think it doesn't. I think it's just it's all independent because again, the Eagles were that team in 2022 and they almost won the Super Bowl, and the Eagles were the complete opposite of that in 2017 and did win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about winning the Super Bowl in 2017. No one was talking about.
Oh, sorry, they were going
like not even a question that we could win the Super Bowl in 2017. Right. You know, so I don't know if it really matters more.
I do think like the pressure is hard. That is one thing I think last year taught us. Like, if you're the Packers, you're definitely now it's a different type of pressure. But the Packers are walking into that stadium in Brazil, like expected to put on a show. And I know the Eagles are as well, but the Eagles aren't getting like that national love the Packers are.
No, yeah, that's an interesting point. I don't know if the pressure's any. I think the pressure of the Eagles, excuse me, coming off last year and getting it, like I think it's a similar level of pressure in a different way.
Yeah.
But I get your point. I think nationally, people are expect. That's why I think the Packers will probably be favored by the time game time comes around. All right, it's the Bet Parks Big Pot. I want to relook at Super Bowl odds and mix. We haven't done that in a little while. See what's changed since the last time we spoke. But I thought we could quickly just peruse the week one lines. Just get an early look. We've talked so much about Eagles and Packers in Brazil. Let's go through and just see what the week one looks like. Get the football appetites whetted, so to speak. The Eagles are not the first game of the year. Thursday night, the Ravens at the Chiefs to start it off. That is a fun game to start the season. What do you think the line would be on that one if you had to guess?
Oh, so we're guessing.
Why not? Just this one.
Yeah.
This one.
In Kansas City?
It is in Kansas City, yes.
Chiefs -1.
Chiefs -3.
Wow, I was way off. I'm more preseason mode.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems right. Like,
seems fair.
But the Chiefs are also a team where I could definitely picture the Ravens winning this game. Talk about like a regular season.
The Lions won it last year, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
a regular season team versus a team that I think is now like moved past.
Where are you? And we'll get to Super Bowl odds, and I wouldn't bet on them because they're the favorite. But where are you on the belief that the Chiefs can be the first three-peat team in this?
I mean, they'll be my pick.
Wow, you're gonna pick them to win it.
Yeah, I'm not picking against it.
I get it. It's hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes. I just feel like no one's ever three-peated, and there's a reason. It's really hard.
Yeah,
really hard to just keep. And they've been in the Super Bowl. Like, it just seems
the Patriots never three-peated.
No team has ever three-peated.
Wow, okay, I thought the Patriots did. Okay.
No team. I mean, since Lombardi's Packers
right.
In the Super Bowl era, no team has ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row. Ever. Never happened.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the chances they do it are obviously like, I don't know, 15%.
Yeah, probably even lower.
Okay. Yeah, but the way I would look at it is if I had to like bet,
it's how do you bet against Patrick?
If I had to like bet my house on a suit, like how would you pick anybody but him? Like,
no, I get it.
There's other good teams and things can happen, but last year showed you they're just. I mean, they're the new Brady Belichick, just the fun, likable version. They are.
I dislike them just as much as
really.
Yeah, of course. I can't stand
even Andy.
Them. I like Andy, but again, they beat us in the Super Bowl. Like, screw them.
Yeah, but I think
I rooted for them against the Niners, but that's
like Belichick,
the only team they could have played that I would have. I would have rooted for the entire NFC, but the Niners again and the Cowboys. Obviously.
Yeah, but like the Belichick was like unlikable.
So
like I think Mahomes is
we
likable.
Strongly disagree on this. Like I think Belichick's awesome. Like I think Belichick was always like I love that attitude. I love though.
He also beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did, but we also beat him, so we got it back. You know, I never had an issue with Belichick. We're on to Cincinnati. Like I liked all that stuff. Like I was a fan of the whole Belichick presentation.
God, I hope he's not the coach next year.
I want them to win, so I don't want to be a coach, but I would absolutely take him.
Yesterday at the practice, they had Deion Branch, the Super Bowl 38 MVP or whatever, 39 MVP, and they were like talking about it on the loudspeaker.
Well, it's good work by them. They should do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope we would do the same thing with Nick if they were here.
Yeah.
All right. Not a lot of great ones outside of that. Cardinals, Bills, not super exciting. Panthers, Saints, not super exciting. Here's an interesting one though. Texans at the Colts to start off. I think that, who knows with the Jags, but I think there's a decent chance that I mean, look,
it's a big
all
game
three
for playoff
came down to so and the Texans thing, how good are the Texans going to be? Are they going to come in on fire? Or are they going to take a step back? Because they might. Everyone's just clocking the Texans in, and I am too. I'm in on CJ Stroud, but like we just saw Jalen, where everyone's like best quarterback in football, and then last year happened. Like, just don't want to. I do like the Texans.
So Anthony Richardson, I know we disagree on him a little, but I do. Where I do agree with you is like I'm excited to watch him.
I just think his high
ceiling. He checks all the boxes of a super exciting
I believe in Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think he's got a wide variance. Like my point is, I'm not a huge Anthony Richardson fan. I was just talking, if we're looking at odds to win a division, Anthony Richardson all of a sudden being awesome isn't off the table.
Yeah,
is more my point.
I think though, like, and
I'm not a huge believer.
We'll pick this game. But like, I think CJ Stroud could just like throw 4 touchdowns. Like, I think CJ Stroud might just be off of.
He might be. Well, he's my favorite. I'm with you. But again, like So anyway, the Texans are a 2-point favorite on the road in that one. So not a huge favorite. That's pretty close. Jaguars, Dolphins, not that super interesting. The Dolphins are 3.5-point favorite in that one. Vikings, Giants. Giants might get a win to start the season. How about that? Patriots, Bengals. By the way, the Burrow thing. And we're gonna look at Super Bowl odds in a minute. I didn't quite realize how bad the injury he had is.
Yeah.
Did you realize? So first and foremost,
I probably didn't realize this, but
he's not allowed to throw a football 5 days in a row or 4 days in a row or something like that, like, or 3 days in a row. He's got a weird thing. Still, apparently the injury that he had, the ligament, no quarterback has ever had it before. Only linemen have gotten this type of injury.
I didn't know all that.
Apparently,
I do know it's like a throwing arm.
Yeah, apparently it's a lot worse of an injury than I at least took it as.
Yeah,
I'm pretty nervous about the Bengals.
This is my thing with Burrow. Like,
yeah.
I think, like, again, he had his big year, and he's a little similar to Jalen in the way that he's had one huge year, and then, but the difference is Burrow actually gets hurt all the time. Like, everyone worries about Jalen getting hurt. Burrow's the one that actually gets hurt all the time. And yeah, this arm injury is definitely concerning for sure.
Yeah, I'm a lot more concerned than I was. So just
watch out, Joe.
We'll see. Watch out, Joe. Steelers, Falcons. No one cares about that.
Actually, I thought of a fun trade. Tell me what you think.
Uh-huh.
If you were the Jets, would you trade Haason Reddick for Brandon Ayuk? Straight up, like, both want a new contract. Neither are happy.
If I'm the Jets, I would trade Haason Reddick to anyone for anything. Like,
would you do it if you're the Niners?
Look, I don't actually think, like, I wouldn't really give him away, but, like, if I'm the Jets, like, I'm basically like, bleep off.
Yeah.
Bleep off Haason Reddick. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that we were going to talk. Like, if I'm the first of all, it's their own fault. Like, you should never, ever make a trade unless you have a deal set or you know the deal set, whatever. Like, that's dumb. The Eagles did it with A.J. Brown. It was like, trade, boom, deal, good. Like, so Joe Douglas, like, deserved to be crushed for this. Like, he absolutely deserves to be crushed for it. And now he deserves credit for seeing where this was going and getting what he could get for it before it became a bigger issue. Now, whether you want to talk about whether they should have paid him or not, it's a different discussion. We've had that. But in terms of, like, if they're going to move, like, how he read the situation correctly, I think Joe Douglas read it horrendously. But, like, also, like, I could not be more out on Haason Reddick after this.
Oh, really?
Like,
I feel
like, I get trying to get your money, but, like, it's like, this is like, what an embarrassment. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you show up for your introductory press conference, then you're never back in the building, like, sitting out. Like, I just think it's a bad play by him. Like, they're not going to give him what he wants. Like, take an upgrade for this year and go out on the market next year and stop painting yourself as a problem because you just left Philly and it seems like you could have been a problem here at the end. And that's part of the reason they moved on. And now you're doing this. Like, I just think it's a dumb move, but I think it's bad business by Haason Reddick. I don't think he's going to get what he wants out of it. Like, and I just think the whole thing looks like a clown show. Like, I think it is a clown show of a situation.
So I agree with most of that. I think where I differ is I just feel bad for Haason. Like, he has earned the big payday most edge rushers get, and he's not getting it. And so the league is speaking to it.
But like, I don't know if he has earned it. The fact that
the fact he hasn't gotten it says
that he hasn't. And again, like, I love Haason Reddick. He's not Nick freaking Bosa. Like, he's not. He had 1 year where he produced at that level. 1 year.
He had 4 years,
and it was in it
sacks in a row.
Right, but Nick Bosa is Nick freaking Bosa. Like, my point is, Haason Reddick is probably like a top. Like, I think he probably should be paid as like the 10th best edge rusher in the league.
I agree with that.
And he's looking for top 5 type stuff, and you're just not going to get that. You're not freaking Nick Bosa.
But a lot of guys that,
and then on top of that, like, you're like, it sucks. You're 31, dude. Like, those guys are younger when they got paid. On top of that, you're someone who is a scheme fit guy. Like, you need to have the right scheme, the right situation. Like, Nick Bosa, put him on any of the 32 defense in the NFL. He's going to be great because he's just a great edge rusher. So, like, I get it, and I get why Reddick is upset. But at the same time, like, you got yourself into this situation. You signed the contract you signed, and I think that he's handling this poorly. Like, I do.
So, like, I think that the Jets are the one that created this, number one. Like, you don't trade for somebody that you know wants a new deal and then expect that they're not going to want a new deal. And I know that the reporting is they told them, like, we'll wait and see, but obviously Haason doesn't feel that way. So clearly there was a miscommunication. I agree with you that Haason is not a top 5 edge rusher in the NFL. But a lot of times guys get paid like top 5 guys that are not top 5 guys when they're free agents, right?
Yes.
So that's the difference. But Haason is 1 year left on his deal. Like, a lot of guys get a new deal with 1 year left on his deal. So I think Haason has earned it, and I feel differently about Haason. What has to be super frustrating for him is the league is telling him, like, we're not giving you that money.
Right. And that's why I think he's handling. Like,
I wouldn't hold out if I were him now. He should have held out last year.
You should have held out last year. That was when he had leverage. He made a huge mistake.
I think he's at a point where it's like,
you
have to hope a team like, while I don't think the Eagles would trade for him back.
There's no zero.
I think if they did, though, they wouldn't give him a new deal. I think it would be like, hey, we'll save you. Like, you can come. I don't think they will, to be clear.
There's no way. 0%. The Jets aren't trading. There's that like you want to compound an embarrassment tenfold, it's by trading him for, then essentially everyone knows you trade a third for a sixth or third for a seventh or whatever. There's nothing else there. Like he will sit out and not play for them before they trade him.
So
I feel super confident.
Yeah. If I were them, I might just trade him just to move it.
They're not going to.
I know.
Like they will not. It is Joe Douglas admitting, like that's like you're giving like 0% chance.
But I'm saying what I would do.
Like, I get it. I'm just saying they're
just
not going
to get him out. Like
they're not going to.
Yeah, I don't think.
No chance.
Well, I disagree.
Unless they get a better draft pick back and they give away, but that's not going to happen.
I could see them doing it for like a fifth that could be a fourth.
No, because you're admitting.
Well, it's
your
better
failure.
something than nothing. You've already traded. It's like they're putting bad money on bad money.
At that point, it's you bet that Haason Reddick is not going to take $5 million in fines. Like at a certain point, you say like he's going to show up.
Right, but do you want him to show up at that point? He's going to.
Yes, my point is, if I'm Joe Douglas, there is nothing that looks worse than the ledger reading. I traded a 3rd round pick for a 7th round pick. I traded a 3rd round pick for a 6th round pick. Like that's like it's look, he's already screwed up. It's already
that's
horrible.
What I'm saying. Like it's
I agree, but
at
this point, no. Like I think there is nothing he could do worse than trading him for a less draft.
Would you take him back? If like basically,
I don't want him.
But so you wouldn't take him.
If I'm the Eagles,
so I would.
I don't want him. I'm out on Haason Reddick. Like
I think you're being a little harsh on him.
Why?
Like,
dude, he got like whatever happened. Like we don't know exactly. Like, do I think Joe Douglas traded for Haason Reddick without having any sort of move, something from Reddick's camp saying we want to play there, and we were like, absolutely. Like I think that, and Joe Douglas deserves to get dinged, but like I'm sure Joe Douglas went to Reddick's people and talked to them about it, like or got a feel for where they're at, and now this is happening. Like I'd be furious if I'm Joe Douglas. And again, like I think Reddick completely misplayed his hand. And also, look, what we heard about Reddick leaving wasn't great. Like he clearly was trying to get sacks last year at the end of the year. He was clearly freelancing. He clearly wanted a deal, and that felt some type of way about it. Like I am done with Haason Reddick in Philly. Like I'm good.
I can't fault a guy for wanting to get paid, and like he's in the final year of his deal. So
I'll never fault a guy for wanting to get paid, but
that's what's happening.
But
like
I'll fault the guy for how he goes about his business because
I think he handled it the right way last year.
But he didn't this year. He's but
now he's in.
But again, like show up, man. You don't get traded to another team and not show up. And again, that's on the Jets too. But I'm good.
But if I was him, I'd be thinking like I showed up last year and I didn't get paid. So like now you're playing the last card you have.
Got traded. Like that you told a team a certain thing or whatever, and now you're not doing it.
But
who knows what with those?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we know.
Regardless, again, like I'm out on Haason Reddick.
So if he told the Eagles, like, look, I just want to play now. I'm not happy in New York. I'm out. I'll play on the 1 year deal.
I'm out on Haason Reddick.
You wouldn't take him at all.
Like if they want to give him to me for free,
like it would be. I think
I don't
would,
know.
Like remove the conditions.
I don't know.
Basically.
I don't know. I'd have to talk to him and really feel like his hat in his hand. And again, like then you're getting a player motivated because he is coming in. Like sure, there's a
and
scenario,
he's really, really good.
But again,
like, he might not be top 5.
They're not trading him, so it's a non-starter. Like they are not trading him. Like 0%.
Wow, you feel strongly about that.
I think there's a no chance that they trade him unless they get back what they gave away, which I don't think is happening.
I don't know. I think that if he truly like gets to week 4 or 5, like at that point, like the trade deadline's coming up, like I could see them moving him.
I think they would bank on him coming in when he has to, week 11 or whatever, so he doesn't lose his full year of salary, and he'll show up week 11 and he'll play for them for the end of the season.
Well, the other thing that sucks about this for the Eagles is
they're not getting that.
They're not getting the second. But the other thing that sucks is if he gets traded somewhere else, like you built those conditions off of what you thought in New York.
Well,
you know?
the conditions are over. Like they're not getting the conditions.
Well, if he gets traded to like the Bucks or something, like he could get 10.5 sacks.
Right.
If he gets traded. Like,
sure.
But I'm saying they built those conditions off of we think in New York you'll be successful. And like if he gets traded to a trash team that just like acquires him, then yeah, those conditions will be hard to meet.
Sure. Yeah. I've moved on. I've moved on from Haason Reddick. All right. Other games, not really a ton of good ones. Like I said, Broncos, Seahawks, who cares? Raiders, Chargers, who cares? Cowboys, Browns. The Cowboys actually an underdog in Cleveland.
It's a weird week.
Browns are 2-point favorites. That's a weird one.
It's funny how every year it feels like it's Giants, Cowboys, and I think to myself, like, switch it up. And then I hear
and then it's
like I'd rather just Giants,
Cowboys. Commanders play the Bucks week 1 in Tampa. Rams, Lions, pretty decent one. That's a Sunday night game. Decent
playoff rematch. That's a good
game.
I mean, those are two of the best.
And then Jets, teams. Niners on Monday night. It's a decent game. Eagles, Packers, best game of the weekend.
Yeah, agreed. And
like and I guess Chiefs, Ravens.
Chiefs, Ravens a good one.
So the Thursday, Friday games are easily the two best games. So
I mean, those are 4 of the top, like I don't know, 6 teams in the league.
Yeah, no, it's pretty solid. All right, let's get Super Bowl odds first. The whole reason we're talking about this, download the BetParks Casino and Sportsbook app. We're going to go through every game during the season. We're going to be betting on all these. We're going to do our Go Birds parlay that you want to be a part of.
I'm excited to win
widget on the app.
Year.
Yeah, we won one last year.
Speaking of parlays, Parks does a good job putting together pre-built parlays.
Yeah,
because as much as I like building parlays, sometimes I open the app and
you just don't want to do it.
It's just like it's a little tiresome.
Yeah.
Like it's nice just to be like, all right, plus 350. This is what I root for. Boom,
bang, done for you.
Especially if you're new to gambling.
Yeah, and look, in addition, you can bet on future bets. You can bet on baseball right now. There's so much action to bet on, and you got a casino right in your hand. Baccarat, as we say,
the
roulette,
word of the year.
Live dealer on your phone. You got roulette on your phone. You got all kinds of slot machine games on your phone, like Lucky Cherry, Fantastic Firework. So many fun things to do, plus an amazing deal for new users. If you sign up right now and you're down the first 24 hours, which if you're Go Birds listening, you probably will be because that's what we do.
Yes.
We go down and then we rally. You can rally with $1,000 casino bonus back in your pocket. If you're down the first 24 hours, there's a new user casino bonus. Must be wagered. You must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, Michigan. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's look at some Super Bowl odds here.
Let's do it. Let me guess where the Eagles are currently. Tied for.
So why don't you go order?
Okay. Chiefs number 1.
Yes, plus 550.
I love those odds, by the way. Like plus 550
to the point of I would like it most years in the idea of like just bet on the Chiefs every year.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to be right 2 out of 6 years and you've already won money.
Yeah.
But again, to your point, like I won't bet against the Chiefs. I won't pick against them. Like it's impossible. I need to see a team actually three-peat to believe it can happen.
I just think you get Mahomes at plus 550. Like we love long odds. It's the best team.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Number 2. Number 2. Is it the Niners?
Yeah.
Which I hate. Yeah.
But by far. So they're plus 550. The Chiefs, the Niners are plus 650, and then it jumps to plus 1,000 for the next team.
Wow.
Like
the Niners are a mess.
Has anyone paid attention? Christian McCaffrey, calf injury.
Yeah.
The Niners had the whole joint practices because they had so many injuries. 23 injuries for the Niners. Brandon Ayuk ain't gonna play for the Niners.
Their best receiver.
Like,
although it seems like they might re-sign him, but even if they do at this point, it's an ugly.
Who knows what's gonna happen with it? It doesn't look good. Regardless, like this is crazy to me, and I understand that the favorite in the NFC is gonna have the second best odds because they don't have to go through another favorite in the division. But I just, again, like I've told you, I'm going to pick the Lions probably to go to the Super Bowl as of right now. Like,
wow.
And
even after this training camp
because the Jahmyr Gibbs thing, I forgot.
That, but almost like the Eagles have looked really good.
I can't pick it. I'm not picking the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl this year. No.
Okay. Well, look, maybe that's a good.
I did a lot. Like,
no, I know. Maybe that's a
no chance.
I'm just surprised.
Not picking them. I think it's possible. You're surprised I'm not going to pick the Eagles? Like,
I mean, they're good, and I don't know.
Seems to pick them every time they're good. Like that. Then what's the point of doing this?
I know. I'm just,
So no, I'm absolutely not picking the Eagles
right
this year or to go to the Super Bowl. They might, but I'm not picking them. All right, third in odds at plus 1,000.
I'm gonna be bad at this. Is it the Bills?
The Ravens.
Yeah, I don't think the Ravens are gonna win the Super
Bowl. I don't
Bowl.
feel great about the Ravens this year either. They lost a lot of guys. Fourth is a tie.
The Packers.
Nope.
Bills.
Nope.
I don't know who.
We just mentioned the Lions.
The Lions. All right.
And the Eagles.
So they were tied for fourth.
So the Eagles odds have gone up. They were, I believe, plus 15 or 1,600 last time we did this. They are plus 1,200 now. They are tied with the Lions for the fourth best odds, second best odds in the NFC. Right after them is the Bengals at plus 1,300. We're out on that.
Yeah.
Bills at plus 1,500. Don't love it, but Josh Allen. Plus, and also with the Bills, one of those years where it's like now that no one's paying it, like not picking them, no one's picking them. That would be the year they do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Texans at plus 1,600, which makes sense. We love CJ. And then you get to the Packers at plus 1,800, and the Cowboys at plus 2,000, right there with the Jets. Then there's another drop off. But we remember the last time we looked at the odds, the Cowboys and Eagles were right next to each other. Right next to each other. I think it was plus 1,500 or 1,400 plus the 100 above. And now it's plus 1,200 for the Eagles, plus 2,000 for Dallas. It is swung big time.
So I need you
it should, but
I need you to do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let me talk myself into the Jets plus 2,000.
No.
Don't let me do it. Because like the reports are Aaron Rodgers looks awesome in camp.
Nope.
We know their roster's good.
No.
Just don't let me do it.
Rein it in.
But plus 2,000.
Nope.
All right.
Pull it together.
Okay. I don't think they're going to do it. Like, but man, they're easy to talk yourself into.
They are. Yeah.
Well, and don't let me. I know. But like, if Rodgers is good, they're gonna be awesome. Like they have everything else.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, yeah,
and
yeah, no,
but they don't have a coach.
roster. They have a
They
good
don't have a
roster,
coach.
but yeah, I agree. I don't like any of the long odds really as I'm looking at it in terms of to actually win the Super Bowl. The Bears at plus 3,500.
No, I
I
kind
don't
of like
think they're
that.
gonna win it, but that's probably of all the long odds.
I think Caleb Williams is gonna be awesome.
I may not get. I've always.
I think he's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
he might be our CJ Stroud, which isn't
Yeah.
a great take.
No, I like CJ more than I
Agreed,
like
but like
I'm saying even coming out of college, like I was way more in on
Yeah.
CJ last year than I was on Caleb.
Yeah.
This year. Like CJ, like I still don't get it. Like how could you look at him and Bryce Young and it's insane that they pick.
It's got to kill him.
It's just insane. Like
as much as we focus on the
one guy looks like us. Like what are we doing? Like if I stand next to Bryce Young, it's like which one's the quarterback? CJ Stroud towers over.
Yeah, I think like as much as we focus on the Rager Jefferson thing, I don't know if the city would ever get over.
Oh no, well that's too bad. Yeah,
like,
I don't. That's about as bad as
that'd be like I think that could truly cost Howie the job just from public pressure of like I don't think Howie would ever make that pick.
Yeah. Well, in case you're wondering, the Panthers last in Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
well there you go. That says all
plus
you need to know.
20,000.
I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
So that means if you bet $1,
you win 20,000. Right?
200.
200.
What are you doing, buddy?
200.
But if you bet $100, you would win 20,000.
Okay, there we go. That's what I was thinking. I was close.
$1 to win 20,000. I might actually say
honestly, I
might actually say maybe take a shot on the
bet. They'd have to be then what plus 200,000.
Might as well put $1 in there. Yeah, so.
It would never hit. But
that is pretty crazy though that there is a team that you could bet $100 to win 20,000 if they actually win.
Wow. Well, here's me talking myself into it. Like, who knows? Maybe Bryce actually is good. Like,
breaks out.
They're in a bad division. Like,
so I think the takeaway is this year for me. Like, I like the favorites a lot more.
Yeah, it's a top heavy NFL this year.
Yeah, and look with a if you're plus 2,500 or plus 1,000, remember that's still a pretty fun bet.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to final thoughts.
Okay, so I'll give you my train thought, I guess. Oh wait, well, I have so many good ones. All right, actually, this is more of a fun one.
Overflowing.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Does anything in life sound more different than what it actually is than a carrot cake? Like, I think if you hear carrot cake, like obviously you think vegetable right away. Like if you said to a kid, "Do you want carrot cake?"
I get it.
I think
I know
reaction,
it's hard for me to disassociate knowing what a carrot
exactly.
cake is.
But if you were a first time human and like
first time human,
and they were saying, "Do you want a carrot cake?" I think your initial reaction would be like, "No."
Yeah.
Like
no, I get it.
Carrot cake is delicious.
Yeah.
Like what other thing sounds so different than what it actually is? Like I think a carrot cake within itself sounds gross, but a carrot cake is not gross. A carrot cake is awesome. You think of anything else?
I guess there's other food things like that. Good question,
right? Like if you ask, now Zoe probably has tried carrot cake, but
she has not.
Okay, well I'll be curious if does she know what carrot cake is?
No, I mean,
does she know what carrots are?
Yes, she likes carrot. Not likes them, but
she's aware it's a vegetable.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a perfect. I'd be curious to know her reaction. Like, hey, I made a carrot cake.
What do you think a carrot cake is?
Yeah, I think she'd probably be like, ew.
She probably would be.
Right? But maybe. I think if you just said, hey, I made a cake and gave it to her, she would like it.
I get your point. No, it's a good point.
So what else sounds so different?
Yeah.
Where
I mean, I'm sure there are other things.
Yeah, I mean, I can
in a similar range, but I'm sure there aren't things that are that much.
I can't think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there are others.
All right.
Yeah. That's a good one, though.
Thank you.
You're on a roll here.
Yeah, thank you.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Because I had carrot cake a few days ago. So good.
I assume that's where it came from. I'm not a huge carrot cake guy.
My favorite. It's my favorite cake.
Yeah, really?
It's my favorite cake.
That is a
I mean, obviously,
opinion.
like a chocolate cake is like, but
carrot cake.
Carrot. I mean, what cake would you like?
I don't know. It's like my 10th favorite.
Really?
Well, I like red velvet better.
Oh, I'm not a red velvet guy.
Yeah, I mean, I like regular vanilla cake with chocolate icing better. I like chocolate cake better. I like. I don't know what are other cakes. Rum
pineapple cake? Upside down.
Sure, I like that better. I like
strawberry
shortcake. Like honestly,
very good as well.
Ice cream cake. Like my point is like
I'm out on ice cream.
Like, I don't even love ice cream cake. I'm saying carrot cake is below all those. Like
right.
Like carrot cake would be lower, very low on my list.
I think carrot cake is,
which makes my
top of the line.
See, that's why your point is more strong.
You have to like carrot cake. But I still think even if you don't like carrot cake,
I agree.
You're not
There's
expecting.
a huge difference from what you're expecting.
Like Zoe would probably expect it to be like a
I
cake
agree
of
that.
like
I get your point, and I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm not a huge carrot cake guy, so same effect. I don't really have a final thought. I just have a Zoe quote. In case you're wondering what's going on.
Is it about carrot cakes?
No. It's about what she likes now.
But it's not carrot cake.
She loves makeup. Big makeup gal. makeup, dressing up, the whole thing.
But
But
does she use like real makeup or is it?
oh
like
yeah, no,
good
she's
ma-
got
okay,
her.
yeah.
I mean,
just
I don't.
curious.
I don't.
I'm just curious if they make
nothing to do
like
with it. I
kids
don't know.
makeup or
Sure.
like if it's like
I mean,
she's pretending to put lipstick.
no, it's
on
real
or-
makeup.
Okay,
Yeah. But I don't know if it's like I don't know if they
Right.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Regardless, but she's going with a lot of like black and dark makeup.
Goth.
And she said, quote unquote, "Dad, my favorite thing in the world is to be a creepy girl."
Wow. All right.
Hey,
Yeah,
we're
all
going
right.
through a phase.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
No,
first phase.
It's
yeah.
very cute.
I feel like
here, I have there's a very funny video of it. I could just show you so you get a general idea. So here, look. So I'm not actually playing out loud, but you see like the look that she's going for there.
It's not as goth as I expected.
No,
but
well,
yes.
'cause she's
yeah,
a
yeah.
little
No, I
kid,
know. I
yeah,
just was
yeah.
picturing like
Yeah.
hardcore.
She wanted to be very scary, so she came.
It is kind of a creepy.
It's creepy,
song.
right?
Yeah.
And so she was like, "I want to be a creepy girl."
I like the climate.
She's doing some moves.
Yeah.
Anyway, very creepy. So,
well,
shout
look,
out
I
to
think
my
it's good she
creepy daughter.
goes through the. Look, people should wear whatever they want, but it's good to go through the goth phase now.
Yeah,
you don't want to do that in high school. I mean, look, be yourself. But
cool, whatever works.
Yeah, for sure.
She's happy with. And that's all I got.
All right.
Preseason
game Thursday.
Have fun with that. I'll be at the Phillies game, and then I'm going to Fish Festival, so I will pay very little attention to it. I'll catch up on it, but I will not be talking about it.
All right.
Saturday, you will be with, I believe, BLG and Devin. Correct?
Yes.
So that'll be a lot of fun doing the show, and I'll be back next week. Record at some point. I'm back at work on Thursday, but we'll record before then.
Yep.
Should be good.
Boom. Almost in the regular season.
This is it. This is the end. There's no more days off. These are my last days off.
All right.
This is it.
Yes.
Forever.
Till the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Till New Orleans.
Unless you count Labor Day as a day off. But, like we all get Labor Day. It doesn't really.
Yeah.
But,
Well, Labor Day is the day after Brazil.
I know. Yeah. That's weird, by the way. Well, Labor Day is before. It's right before Brazil.
Oh, so Ava's wrong.
Yeah. So Labor Day is the weekend right before Brazil. Like it's the first, second, whatever that is. That is when Labor Day.
So I was given bad information.
Yeah, she lied to you.
Okay,
You will be in Brazil for Labor Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Labor Day is a Saturday.
Labor Day is a Monday always.
But then I will be in Brazil.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Labor Day is here. We can just get the date.
I think
right?
It's the first.
First is it the first year?
So,
So either way,
Brazil,
yeah. So Ava was wrong if she told you it was the
Second.
weekend after.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that's it.
There we go.
We got Labor Day set. Everyone, we'll be back. Elliot will be back to react to the game.
Yeah.
Saturday show. I'll be back next week. We're rolling. Go Birds.
There it is.
He's Elliot James.